Hello, I'm Tan BOTC channel. So there's a lot been going on with that Catly thing. I made a couple of short, silly clips using the war change has changed and the war never changes, but with greed. And yeah, the Catly thing's been getting ridiculous. I have a few things on the screen over by my left so I can look at them. So I looked at the Penguin Zero, this one person trying to defend AI, even like at the end, he stopped reading because it sounded like he was going to start defending stuff like microtransactions and NFT crap and all that, or whatever the frick he was going to say. But it was no good either way. But other than the fact that it's really stupid, just the fact that somebody's like this is just defending to this ridiculous extent and calling like the cheap voice actors and all that crap, like it's freaking ridiculous. Um, like there's already a video by it feels disrespectful because there's a video by Saberspark, which is the decline or downfall of voice acting and like how Hollywood just doesn't give a crap. There are so many awesome voice actors: Keith David, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, Nolan North, Troy Baker, Steve Bloom. Do I need to go on? Fred Teskior, Mark Hamill. There's even actors getting into the whole like voice acting biz, or are actors and voice actors in a lot of things. So I just feel like that's super disrespectful. It's also just very disgusting. AI generated content is just, it feels like a lie. It doesn't feel genuine, like it was made by somebody with passion or made by anybody at all. Um, it doesn't have the same amount of passion and work that freaking actual person doing it by hand or whatever has. It doesn't have that same feeling. And I see a lot of different arguments that can come of it. I just don't agree. I'm going to have Dave say a few things about what his feelings on like AI stuff is and how it would go forward. He actually brought up a good point too, where just like if everything is run by AI or they have AI run most things and like tons of people lose their jobs, who the frick's going to pay for that AI slop? If you made most of the people lose their jobs and not be able to, like, the only way that stuff would function is if they made a a world where money was either obsolete or very cheap. A lot of things are super cheap, like, because then nobody can pay for your AI slop. So it may take a while for that to finally reach that point, but it would happen eventually. It's just such a stupid way of like thinking like this could replace everybody. It's already something that comes into question with people who lose their jobs when they make like automated cash registers or something at a store. And while I don't entirely mind that, I can see both the benefits and the downfalls and problems with it. There's many ulterior things. The voice actor thing, just a really cheap shot, really cheap on itself shot at voice actors that put hard work. Yes, there are some who don't. Like, for example, I hate the voice actress who does Ada Wong in Resident Evil 4. Like, she's really phoning it in. But there's not always gonna be those people. There are people who do an excellent job with their voice acting talents. So let's see if I can get Dave here. I have him on a headset and he will explain some things. Hey, Dave. Let's see if he answers. Hello. Uh,
Hi.
you remember the question I asked you?
Say it again then.
um, I guess like what do you think of like if somebody were to say like AI, what if AI eventually thought for itself and such? Like would it
Uh,
get to that point?
it wouldn't truly be able to think for itself, not only because it's all of what it would respond with is just based on training data anyways. It's
Yeah.
not making a decision or anything.
Yeah.
It's all based on prior input.
Yeah.
And the way that a brain is made versus a computer, like if you look at like AI in Minecraft, if you turn around after building a house, it will just disappear.
Yeah.
It's like there's no guarantee it'll remember what's happening because of the way it's designed to work.
Yeah.
And then the case of how long it would take as well for any data to transmit. A brain is very condensed and it doesn't generate an absurd amount of heat. Computers, there's like an individual CPU die, and then like all the crap in between, and then like another CPU die, and then a bunch of wires and traces, and it makes so much heat that you need to take up space getting like radiators going and stuff.
Yeah.
It will never be close enough for things to transmit like real thoughts do.
Yeah.
And in the case of what was it?
Yeah, you were.
It's basically because of like that, even the lack of object permanence and the way it interprets words as like a single word is a single number value instead of like knowing it as the letters.
Yeah.
So it's like you might say the word art is this long value, and it knows just how those words go together more than individual letters. That's how a large language model is designed, and all those things come together to say like there's no way that a computer would ever be able to form a sense of self.
Yeah.
And there would be no self to express in art.
Yeah. And you brought up how like they would have to have another AI, and then there's like training, but it gets worse.
Oh yeah. So the way things are right now, like especially in the world of like AI code, like you could have a language model be like, hey, write a quick script in Python that can do this, and then you could like go through like a couple back and forth and design yourself a cute little automation for yourself. That's cool. But now it's like if that being overused in like actual like applications and code bases, that means that any future training beyond that point will be tainted by the AI training, like the AI code. So it's like that's been an observed case of it slowly getting worse. And even like on the internet, everything that like trains off of whatever's being posted on Twitter or something, it's going to be scraped up by an AI, and then the AI that is training off of things that were AI made are just going to get slowly worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very interesting things. I went over like if we were to make AI control everything, take everybody's jobs, then who would be able to pay for the AI slop? If there's nobody that has money, you would only work that into a system if money was like made obsolete or something. And you know that higher up like companies and corporate like these big bosses just will not agree with that.
Not want money to ever go away.
Yeah. They'll try their best not to have it. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting factors. I don't think anything like Terminator can happen from robots either. That's silly. Even though I love those movies and stuff, iRobot, those have great ideas. But once again, yeah, it's work of fiction. It is very wishful thinking for that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you for your input. Do you think there's anything else you would add? Or is that it?
The number 5 is alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, by the way.
No problem.
Yeet. Yeah. And I think that's just an interesting thing to put into perspective on this thing. And I was looking at the thing that Penguin Zero was reading. I hope you could also hear Dave. But yeah, when you have a disposition like that, and then especially the voice actor thing, once again, even though that's not as made a big deal here, I do think it's very disrespectful to voice actors and the hard work they still put into. Yes, he's referencing something like Skyrim, where eventually the bots have to repeat their lines after a while, their same 5 lines or whatever the frick. But it just still feels disrespectful. And not only that, but there are multiple people, as well as multiple takes, unless they're too lazy. There's a lot more work going into that stuff. And yet you still need a person that, like, for example, if robots were, for example, to be like the Terminator, actually reach that point to being the Terminator, there would still have to be like a person in control of that thing to make it want to attack. The person would still have the motivation there. And then Dave was talking about to me earlier that just AI would just, like, if they did get to those points, they would not only have the flaws of other needing other AI to then correct them and all that crap, and it would just be a whole mess. And it would just get to a point where they definitely think so much slower than the average person, even the not so average person, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting perspectives to put into that. I thought that was some interesting input. Dave always has some interesting things to say. Once again, I hope they were heard. But thank you nonetheless for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.